Imagine walking into a room. You say nothing, but suddenly all eyes are on you. People whisper, curious about who you are, what you do, but you don't reveal anything. That's the power of silence. That's the secret behind the book, Never Tell People What You Do. In today's video, we'll explore how not telling people what you do can actually make you more powerful, more respected, and more unforgettable. This is not just a book, it's a strategy, a mindset, a silent weapon for success. Part 1. Silence is power. Silence. A word that seems simple, but it holds more power than most people can imagine. In a world full of noise, the one who remains quiet stands out the most. People think that to be heard, they need to speak louder, talk more, show everything. But the truth is, when you speak less, people listen more. Silence creates mystery. When you don't tell people everything about you, they start wondering, who is he really? What does he do? What's going on inside his mind? And that mystery becomes your strength. You see, when you stay silent, you're not just holding back words, you're creating curiosity. You're controlling the room without saying a word. That's not weakness, that's power. Think about the people you admire, the ones who don't talk too much. But when they do, every word feels heavy. Every sentence leaves an impact. Why? Because silence gives weight to your words. Silence is also self-control. It's easy to talk, it's easy to overshare, but staying silent, that takes discipline. That shows that you are not just reacting, you're thinking, observing, and understanding. People who talk less are usually better listeners. They watch, they learn, they notice what others miss, and that makes them sharper, more strategic, more powerful. Silence also protects you. The more you speak, the more you reveal your plans, your thoughts, your weaknesses. But when you stay silent, no one knows what you're thinking. No one can use your words against you. You become unpredictable, and that's powerful. And let's not forget, silence makes your actions louder. While others are busy talking about what they're going to do, you're quietly doing it. No announcements, no noise, just results. When success shows up, people are surprised. They ask, when did this happen? Because you didn't talk about it, you just did it. Silence builds your presence. You walk into a room, you say nothing, but everyone feels your energy. They sense your focus, your confidence, your control. That's the real power of silence. It makes people guess, it makes them curious, and that curiosity keeps you in their minds long after you've walked away. So next time you feel like proving yourself, don't. Let your silence do the talking. Let your presence speak louder than your words. Because the one who speaks less often knows more, and the one who knows more doesn't need to shout. Part 2. The power of a mysterious personality. There is something incredibly magnetic about mystery. When you keep parts of yourself hidden, your thoughts, your plans, your emotions, people are naturally drawn to you. Why? Because human nature is curious. We want to figure things out. We want to know the why, the how, and the who. So when someone doesn't show all their cards, doesn't explain every move, doesn't share every detail, they instantly become interesting. A mysterious person stands out, not because of what they say, but because of what they don't say. Their silence becomes a story. Their calm presence becomes a puzzle. And people love puzzles. When you're mysterious, people start paying attention. They try to read your face. They analyze your actions. They listen more closely when you speak, because they know you don't speak often. This creates respect. People take you more seriously. They stop treating you like just anyone, and start seeing you as someone important, someone different. Think about it. Have you ever met someone who didn't speak much, but when they did, you wanted to hear every word? That's the effect of mystery. It makes your presence powerful. Being mysterious also gives you control. When people don't fully understand you, they can't predict you. They can't use your weaknesses against you. They don't know how to manipulate you. Because they don't know what you want, what you fear, or what you're planning. Mystery gives you the upper hand. While others are exposing their feelings, showing off, or oversharing, you're watching, learning, preparing. You're 2 steps ahead. And here's something important. A mysterious person isn't someone who hides in the shadows. They're not fake. They're not cold. They're simply intentional. They know what to say and what not to say. They show just enough to keep people interested, but hold back enough to stay in control. A mysterious personality also creates emotional distance, and that distance builds value. People chase what they don't fully understand. They want what they can't easily reach. And when you're mysterious, you become that person. You don't need to lie. You don't need to pretend. You just need to stop explaining everything. Let your silence do the work. Let your actions raise questions. Let your vibe stay unexplained. Because when people don't know everything about you, they start imagining. And what they imagine is often more powerful than the truth. So remember, in a world full of people trying to be seen, be the one who's not easy to read. Be the mystery they never solve, and the story they never forget. Be enchanting, not informative. In today's world, everyone wants to prove something. We've all been in conversations where someone tries to impress us with their degrees, experiences, achievements, or knowledge. They speak in a way that says, "Look how much I know." But here's the truth. Knowledge may inform you, but enchantment stays with you. Being informative means you share facts, figures, and stories about yourself. But being enchanting? That's when people feel something when you speak. They don't just hear your words, they remember them. They remember you. So what does it mean to be enchanting? To be enchanting is to be someone people can't forget. You're not just another person giving information. You're someone who leaves an impression on their heart and mind. You're someone who makes people pause and think, who is this person? Why do I feel connected to them? Enchanting people don't need to say much. They don't need to list their resume. They don't need to show off. They ask powerful questions. They spark curiosity. They draw others into meaningful conversations. They make people feel seen and heard. Let's look at a simple example. Imagine you're at a gathering. One person starts talking about their job, their income, and their achievements. You nod politely, maybe smile. But within a few minutes, your mind starts drifting. You've heard this kind of talk before. Now imagine someone else comes along and says, "Tell me something. What was the moment in your life that truly changed you?" Boom. That question hits differently. It makes you pause. It makes you remember. It pulls a story out of you, and suddenly you're connected. That's the power of enchantment. Here's the secret. People don't want to know how smart you are. They want to feel something when they talk to you. They want to feel inspired. They want to feel respected. They want to feel like you care about who they are. And you can never achieve that by just being informative. You do that by becoming emotionally intelligent, deep, and curious about others. So how can you become enchanting? Here are a few powerful ways. 1. Talk less, mean more. Don't talk just to fill space. When you speak, speak with intention. Let every word carry depth and emotion. Enchanting people often speak in a calm, soft, yet powerful voice. Their silence even speaks volumes. 2. Ask, don't just tell. Instead of telling people about your success, ask them about their journey. Instead of saying, "I've done this," say, "What inspired you to choose your path?" Questions like, "What's a lesson life taught you the hard way?" "What's something you're deeply proud of, but rarely talk about?" These aren't just questions. They're doors to the soul. 3. Create emotional experiences. Enchanting people connect emotionally. They make you feel. They don't say, "I used to be poor." They say, "I remember the nights we had no electricity. I'd sit near the window hoping for light, but that darkness made me dream harder." See the difference? It's not just facts, it's feelings. 4. Use mystery as a tool. You don't need to reveal everything about yourself. Leave space for curiosity. When people don't know everything, they wonder. And wondering is powerful. When you speak less, you create a magnetic pull. People lean in, they want to know more. That's enchantment. 5. Let your vibe speak louder than your words. Your energy, your tone, your presence. It all matters. Enchanting people feel different. They don't push their presence. They let their vibe do the talking. So why are most people not enchanting? Because they're too busy trying to impress. They're always proving, "I'm successful, I'm smart, I'm powerful." But remember, the need to prove comes from insecurity. True confidence is quiet. Enchanting people have nothing to prove, only stories to discover in others. Why does enchantment matter? Because information is everywhere, but connection is rare. YouTube is full of videos. Social media is full of people talking about themselves. Everyone wants attention, but who gets remembered? The one who connects. The one who made you feel something. Let's end with this. The next time you're in a room, don't try to be the most interesting person in it. Be the person who makes others feel interesting. Don't talk about yourself. Make others talk about their dreams, their pain, their stories. That's how you enchant. That's how you stay in people's hearts. Not through facts, but through feeling. Be enchanting. Be unforgettable. And remember, the most powerful people don't show you who they are. They make you discover who you are. Part 4. Don't brag about your success. Success, it's a beautiful word that resonates deep within every individual. Everyone wants to succeed, to transform their dreams into reality, to feel proud of their achievements, and for the world to notice, acknowledge, and appreciate them. But the question is it necessary to announce your success? Is it important to tell everyone about every little victory? No. True success is something that doesn't need to be shouted out loud. Instead, it speaks through your actions, silence, and presence. When people brag, people who constantly boast about their success, I did this, I earned so much, I went here, people know me. Such people may leave a temporary impression, but they don't have a lasting impact, because it's human nature. The more noise there is, the less attractive it becomes. People who brag often lack depth, and their words lack weight. And most importantly, humility is missing. True power lies in silence. Silence is an art that not everyone can master, but those who do, the world respects them. Silent people don't speak with words, they speak through their character, ethics, and deeds. These individuals don't need to tell others how successful they are because others will feel it. This person is different. Why does silence have more impact? Because silence holds dignity, confidence, and most importantly, silence is often filled with humility. One line of silence can carry more weight than 1,000 words of boasting. Think of it this way. If someone constantly says, I did this, I did that, I'm successful, I have so much, after a while, the listener gets bored. They begin to think this person is just self-centered. But if that same person quietly, humbly just goes about their work, others will say, this person is truly admirable. That compliment didn't come from you, it came from them. And that's real success. What makes successful people different? The most successful people in the world are often simple, silent, and humble. They don't have arrogance on their faces, but rather a sense of peace. Their words rarely start with I, and there is respect for others in their speech. Because they understand, real power comes not from showing off, but from holding back. How does silence work for you? If you want to be taken seriously, if you want people to respect you, then stop bragging. Just work. Work in silence, with love, with persistence. Your actions will become your identity. Your humility will be your strength, and you won't need to announce your success to the world. It will speak for itself. A final thought. Ever heard a tree saying, "Look at me, I'm so fruitful"? No, right? Yet everyone sits under the tree's shade. Why? Because the tree is silent, it's useful, and it has dignity. You should be like that tree, silent, strong, and providing value to others. Don't announce your success. Live in a way that the world automatically recognizes it. Part 5. Cultivate curiosity, don't provide details. Let's dive into part 5 of the book. Cultivate curiosity, don't provide details. The power of curiosity. Have you ever been asked, what do you do? It's a simple question, but how you answer it can make a significant difference in how people perceive you. Often, when asked this question, we feel the need to explain everything in detail to share the full story. But what if the key to creating more intrigue and interest lies in saying less, not more? The idea behind this part is simple yet powerful. By providing fewer details, you can spark more curiosity. This curiosity drives people to want to know more about you, your work, or your passions. Why is it important to keep some mystery? When we give long-winded answers to such questions, we unintentionally make it easier for others to form their judgment, and often lose their interest quickly. People are curious by nature, but they don't want everything laid out for them on a silver platter. They want to uncover things on their own, to dig deeper and discover more. It's human nature to want what's not immediately available, and that's why keeping things a bit mysterious and interesting makes you stand out. For example, instead of explaining in detail what you do, you can simply say, "I'm working on some exciting projects. I'm involved in some creative work." These answers are short, engaging, and spark interest. They don't give away the whole picture, but they make others want to know more. How does this work? By answering with just a hint of mystery, you leave people wondering. They will be more likely to ask follow-up questions and engage with you more deeply. This strategy works in many areas of life. In business, it makes potential clients or partners curious about your services, and they will want to know more before they make decisions. In personal relationships, it can make people want to get to know you better, leaving them intrigued about your interests and personality. Examples. Imagine you're at a party and someone asks, "What do you do for a living?" Instead of listing your job title, responsibilities, and the details of your work life, you could say something like, "I work on some pretty exciting projects." Immediately, that will spark curiosity in the other person's mind. They'll want to ask more questions. What kind of projects? Can you share more about it? And that's when you can decide how much to reveal, keeping them intrigued while still maintaining control over the conversation. The art of curiosity. The art of creating curiosity involves knowing when to hold back and not overshare. By doing this, you allow others to come to you, to ask questions, to build their interest. It's the opposite of giving them everything at once. Why should you use this approach? This approach works because 1. It builds intrigue. By withholding some information, you create a sense of curiosity, and people will be more eager to learn more about you. 2. It encourages deeper engagement. When people ask follow-up questions, they are more invested in the conversation and in you. 3. It makes you appear more interesting. The more mystery you carry, the more you seem like someone who has depth and is intriguing. The psychology behind it. Why do we like mysterious people? Because they are interesting. We want to figure them out, understand their story, and learn what makes them tick. By withholding details, you turn yourself into someone people are curious to know more about. Final thoughts on creating curiosity. Creating curiosity is not about being secretive or evasive, but about being strategic with your words. You want to pique interest, not overwhelm someone with unnecessary information. Keep your answers concise, intriguing, and leave room for others to ask more. When you can master the art of cultivating curiosity, you'll find that people are more likely to be drawn to you, whether it's in professional environments, social gatherings, or even personal relationships. This approach not only helps you stand out, but also gives you the upper hand in conversations. Part 6. Let people make their own assumptions. Now let's talk about Part 6. Let people make their own assumptions. The impact of giving less information. When you don't share too many details about your life or work, people start to make assumptions about you. This is a technique that we can call the art of staying mysterious. The less you reveal, the more people will try to figure you out. This leads to a fascinating effect where your mystery makes people perceive you as more serious and important. Why does this work? When you don't announce your success or importance, it adds an element of mystery to your persona. As a result, people start thinking more about you. This process is known as psychological effect. When people make assumptions about someone, they tend to think deeper, and they often consider that person to be more successful or important than they might have been if you had provided all the details. How does this benefit you? 1. It increases your perceived importance. When people know less about you, they perceive you as more important. They begin to consider you as someone of higher status or success because they can only imagine what you might be doing. 2. It attracts more attention. If you don't provide every detail, people will talk more about you and focus their attention on you, trying to figure out who you are and what you do. 3. It makes you appear more impressive. The mystery around you makes people intrigued. This, in turn, enhances your personal value in their eyes. The role of psychology. When we don't know much about someone, our brain attempts to fill in the gaps. That means when you give less information, people start placing you in a certain category in their minds. This phenomenon is proven by psychological research. Giving less information makes people think of you as more successful, important, or influential. Example: imagine meeting someone new, and when they ask you, "What do you do?" you give a brief and intriguing answer like, "I'm working on some exciting projects." Now, your new acquaintance will think about that answer, and their mind will wonder what those projects might be. They'll create assumptions, and in their minds, you might be working on something highly successful and fascinating. In contrast, if you go into detail about what you do, they may already form an opinion about your success or importance, which could make them less interested. How it benefits you in different areas of life. 1. In business. If you're in business and you don't reveal too many details about what you do, potential clients will start to think about the value of your services on their own, which increases their curiosity and interest. 2. In personal relationships. When you share less information, people are more likely to be interested in you and wonder about you. They'll naturally gravitate toward trying to understand you better, which can make your relationship dynamic more engaging. 3. When you don't boast about your success or reveal every detail about your life, people tend to take you more seriously and consider you to be more important or successful. How does it work? When you don't share the details of your life, thoughts and assumptions about you automatically begin to form in people's minds. These assumptions can often be more important than the actual facts because they exist in people's minds. Challenging those assumptions can be difficult once they've already formed. A thought to leave with. It's true that by revealing less about yourself, you create an aura of mystery and intrigue. When people are left to make their own assumptions about you, they are more likely to perceive you as important and successful. So don't share everything. Let others make their own assumptions, and you'll find that you've cultivated a powerful and mysterious persona. Now, let's dive into part 7, show confidence, not explanation. The power of confidence. When you feel confident and act with certainty, you don't need to explain everything in detail. Excessive explanations can make you seem unsure or defensive, while showing confidence makes others trust and respect your words and actions. This is why the key to influencing others and creating a strong impact lies in confidence. When you're clear and assertive in your approach, you don't need to constantly justify your actions or decisions. Why is over-explaining a mistake? When we over-explain ourselves, it may indicate that we feel insecure or unsure about our decisions. This often leads to confusion or people questioning our authority. On the other hand, when you present your point confidently and without excessive explanation, it signals to others that you are sure of yourself. This reduces any room for doubt, and people are more likely to respect your opinions. The benefits of confidence. 1. Respect and authority. Confident individuals naturally command respect. People are more likely to follow your lead or trust your decisions when you exude self-assurance. 2. Fewer questions. When you're confident, others don't feel the need to question you repeatedly. Your certainty gives them the trust they need to follow you without asking for constant clarifications. 3. Clearer communication. Using fewer words with confidence leads to clearer communication. You don't need to over-elaborate because your confidence makes your point clear enough. How confidence changes perceptions. The way people perceive you can be significantly influenced by the level of confidence you display. When you're confident, your body language, tone of voice, and mannerisms all convey authority and trustworthiness. You don't have to tell people that you know what you're doing. Your confidence will speak for itself. The danger of over-explaining. Over-explaining can come across as a sign of insecurity. It may suggest that you feel the need to justify yourself, or that you're unsure about your choices. The more you explain, the more likely it is that people will start to doubt your confidence. Instead of explaining every little detail, simply provide the necessary information and let your confidence carry the message. Let's say someone asks you about a project you're working on. Instead of giving a long-winded explanation, a confident response might be something like, "I'm working on something exciting. I'm confident it will make an impact." This response is direct, to the point, and exudes confidence, without the need for excessive details. Your self-assurance will leave a stronger impression than a lengthy explanation. How to show confidence in communication. 1. Be direct. Use clear, concise language. Avoid unnecessary details that can dilute the message. 2. Own your words. When you speak, stand by what you say. Don't apologize or second-guess yourself constantly. 3. Maintain body language. Your body language should match your words. Stand tall, maintain eye contact, and speak with conviction. 4. Silence can be powerful. Sometimes the most powerful way to show confidence is through silence. Let your words linger and allow others to process what you've said without constantly filling the space with more information. The balance between confidence and humility. While confidence is important, it's also essential to find a balance between confidence and humility. You don't want to come off as arrogant or dismissive. Confidence is not about boasting or overwhelming others with your ideas, but about being sure of your abilities and respecting others' viewpoints. Conclusion. To sum up, showing confidence without over-explaining is a key element of creating a lasting impact. When you express yourself confidently and with fewer words, you automatically appear more powerful, trustworthy, and competent. Next time you find yourself explaining something in detail, pause and ask yourself if your confidence can do the talking instead. Let's now talk about Part 8, Let Others Speak, from the book, Never Tell People What You Do. This principle may seem simple on the surface, but it carries deep wisdom and powerful results in both personal and professional life. Give others the opportunity to speak. One of the most intelligent and graceful things you can do is to let others speak. When you allow someone else to express their thoughts, you give them a feeling of respect and importance. More than that, you also open a door for learning from their perspective, their experiences, and their way of thinking. Listening carefully is not just a social skill, it's a sign of emotional intelligence. It shows that you're open-minded and curious, rather than being focused only on your own voice. Learn from the experiences and thoughts of others. Every person you meet knows something you don't. When you give people the chance to speak, you gain access to a wide variety of insights, ideas, and stories. Their experiences may differ from yours, and by listening, you get the chance to step into their shoes for a moment. This doesn't mean you always have to agree, but it does mean you have the maturity to hear different points of view. It helps your mind stretch and grow. Understand people on a deeper level. Listening goes beyond hearing words. When you truly listen, you begin to understand people, their personality, emotions, beliefs, and intentions. You learn what drives them, what they care about, and how they see the world. This level of understanding helps you build stronger relationships and makes you a better communicator, friend, or leader. It also teaches you how to respond wisely, rather than react emotionally. Be open to challenging thoughts and new ideas. When others speak, sometimes they'll say something that challenges your thinking. That's not a threat, it's an opportunity. A powerful idea might come out of someone else's mouth, something that sparks your creativity or makes you think differently. Even if you don't agree, you've expanded your mind, and that is growth. Speak less, listen more. We often feel the urge to talk, especially when we know a lot or feel passionate about something. But wisdom lies in knowing when to speak and when to stay silent. Talking less gives more room for others to open up, and listening more allows you to absorb valuable insights. People remember how you made them feel, and when you genuinely listen, they feel heard and respected. Show confidence without needing to dominate the conversation. Letting others speak doesn't make you seem weak, it makes you look strong. In fact, it takes confidence to listen. You don't need to constantly explain or prove yourself. You create more impact with fewer words when you listen with full attention. This quiet strength builds trust and admiration in others. The secret to powerful conversations. The most meaningful conversations are two-way. If you do all the talking, it becomes a speech. But when you give others space to speak, the conversation becomes dynamic and memorable. People naturally feel closer to those who listen well. That connection is the foundation of trust, influence, and cooperation. How does this work in real life? 1. Give importance to others. When you let someone speak, they feel respected. They become more open, and you get a clearer understanding of their thoughts and emotions. 2. Discover new ideas. Sometimes the best ideas come from the most unexpected places. Listening allows you to discover insights that could inspire your next move or change your perspective. 3. Build love and respect. When you listen sincerely, it sends a powerful message. You value the person and their thoughts. This deepens your connection and strengthens your relationships. Conclusion. In the end, letting others speak is not just polite, it's intelligent. It allows you to learn from others, discover new ideas, build trust and stronger relationships, grow mentally and emotionally. So remember, let others speak and learn from them. That is real intelligence. So remember, sometimes the less you say, the louder your presence becomes. The next time someone asks, "What do you do?" just smile and say something interesting. The people who are truly confident don't need to explain themselves. Never tell people what you do teaches us that mystery is magnetic. The less people know, the more they want to know. Want to stand out in a noisy world? Then stop shouting and start whispering with power.